Slave exchange, man. Well, here's what that meant. You're walking out a path in West Africa, you wake up with a headache, chained naked in the bottom of a ship. Because you were choked into unconsciousness and thrown naked. You're chained up with 200 or 300 other people, ankle deep in human waste. You spend 9 months in the pitch black, covered in excrement, fighting amongst the filth for food. And if you survive, half didn't survive. That's how horrific the journey was. Half they didn't care. That's how lucrative the trade was. Half could die. If you survive, you're thrown in the Mississippi River for 9 months in the dark, straight to the survival, the filth that's kicked on you off, and dragged by the neck to the second floor of the building, where you're smeared with lard to make you look shiny and healthy to find your muscles, and prepared for sale downstairs. Men sipping the juleps and smoking cigars or beating on you like that. Wow. 75 years it's operated as one of the more prolific slave exchanges of the South. And during that time, thousands of people died on the second floor of the building, awaiting sale, the injured, the illness of the trip, just weakness. And tens of thousands of people in that room had their minds broken as the realization hit. This is not the end of an unbelievable nightmare, but the beginning of a life of bondage and servitude. It's now their banquet room. At birthday parties. I went to a bat mitzvah there 5 years ago. No clue, right? Go upstairs, hang my jacket on a hook, go look for the open bar. There's a hook every 3 feet from the wall around that room upstairs. These are the bolts people were chained by the neck to. They're still in the wall because of historic preservation. And I felt awful. I mean, later when I read more about it, I'm like, why is there a little plaque up there saying, don't hang your coat on this hook? Because people were chained up by the neck. Wait, just awful. But that's all it says here is slave exchange. Then it changes the subject. Jean Lafitte, General Jackson, plotted the Battle of New Orleans. No. It's like, people who've worked here for a long time said they don't want to go upstairs to get more napkins. Send the new guy up. He doesn't know any better. And women who go upstairs with the catering manager they say about half of them go, are you kidding? You want me to have a party here? No. And it's like that. But men, we just can't tell the difference. So I'm not saying don't eat the restaurant. Food's excellent. Just don't have your birthday party upstairs unless you're really looking for that horrific ghost experience. Now, people who stay in the apartment next door during big events and all, they come out late into the night, moans, chains rattling, horrific sounds and noises. Because an American ghost hunters set up there, thought their meters were broken. They've never seen a more psychically damaged place than the second floor of this building. Napoleon House, second floor there, was a Civil War surgery. Yikes, arms and legs being lopped off and the stumps cauterized with a hot shovel blade. Hundreds of men dying in screaming agony. There's a year-long waiting list to have your wedding reception there.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta go party. You gotta party with the dead. 1900s, the first window, just a little fun fact, notice how the marble stops halfway up the building? Because the guy who had the marble contract in the early 80s just ran off with the money. And so, Louisiana, we don't tolerate corruption and incompetence. We demand it. It's the price of admission. But the first window on the left there's a bench right inside that window. And there's a plaque next to the bench. Because 2 witnesses to a mob assassination were sitting on that bench in 1920, waiting to testify. Now, 35 people witnessed a broad daylight shooting on Canal Street. I walked in the crowd, but a bang, shot somebody in the head, got in a car and drove off. 2 people agreed to testify out of 35. They're sitting on a bench waiting to testify. When 2 men in suits walked into the courthouse and in front of lawyers, judges, court clerks, and state troopers, shot them both in the head twice and walked out of the courthouse. No one got a good look. I don't know what they were. They were tall, they were short, they were fat, they were thin. So their killers never brought to justice. The guy they were testifying against, he walked free, and they've been haunting the courthouse since 1920. A constant reminder of the wrong thing. In New Orleans, snitches get stitches. It's just how it works. Do not rat here. You see a mob assassination, you've got glaucoma. You didn't see anything. I couldn't see nothing. Or I've been drinking all day or both.
That's crazy.
Will not protect you. Now, that brings us to the 2000s, and the railing is very tough. Is anyone staying at the Omni? Super haunted. It's made from the 1800s. It tucks people back in their beds. It's just kind of fun. It's on their website. So people do it to each other. Like your buddy leaves his key in the door, you just go grab his key, unlock it, wait till he passed out, tuck him in real tight, put the bolsters up, make his bed up, take a picture with his phone, like the ghost did it. It's just fun. Right. That's not why we're here. In 2006, a young man named Zach, Gulf War I veteran, treating his PTSD unsuccessfully with alcohol and cocaine, commits suicide jumping off the building. Now, he didn't jump out, he jumped in. Adrian, who lives on 7th floor, checking into the lobby like some guy just falls behind you. It was glass enclosed, but still, that would have been pretty spooky.
Oh my gosh.
How about this time, about 5 o'clock? Now, Zach was famous in New Orleans for about 5 weeks after Katrina. And Katrina was all papers before your time, maybe 2005. But Katrina comes through, a lot of bad stuff happened, but some people refused to evacuate. It was a mandatory evacuation. Zach was one of them. When you got PTSD, you like crisis and chaos because it makes you feel normal. New Orleans felt normal for the first time to this kid. He's in his 20s. He's like, all of a sudden, the Jeeps running around, the National Guard, M16s, the cars overturned. It looked like Fallujah for a minute. So he's like home. And he meets a lovely young girl. We have some youngsters show you some code. She worked on a shiny pole. She was a showgirl. I'm saying she was a stripper, so I'm trying to use code here.
Yeah.
Her name was Addie. Addie had borderline personality disorder. Also likes crisis and chaos. She meets up with Zach with the PTSD. They're having a good time. They fall in love. And they become the host and hostess of New Orleans in the aftermath of Katrina. They start hosting news crews. They put out Jello shots and sandwiches. So CNN interviews them. The Weather Channel interviews them. In fact, there's a docudrama on the Weather Channel, Zach and Addie's story about these two kids. And the New York Times. There's a 2-page spread in the aftermath of Katrina using Zach and Addie as kind of a textual focal point, giving a human face to try. If you look up Zach and Addie, it'll pop right up.
You know I was going to do that.
Exactly, right? So, they're having a good old time, but then 2006 rolls around and nobody cares. For a while there, they're like movie stars. People buying them drinks in bars. They're famous for just a little bit, but then nobody cares. 2006, Addie's back to shaking it for fat, sweaty tourists, and Zach's delivering groceries on a bicycle, and sure enough, nobody cares. Zach steals the rent money one day. He goes on a bender. They're about to be thrown out of their apartment. Things are bad for him. He goes to the rooftop pool bar at the Omni, drinks his face off, finally gets up his courage, jumps off the building or in, bam, splat, suicide note in a Ziploc bag. Pretty grim. Suicide note is in a Ziploc bag because he knew he was going to kill himself. They open it up. Please check on Addie. This was not an accident. I had to pay for the life I took with my life. I did this on purpose. But I'm worried about Addie. Make sure she's okay. Gets their address. They go to the apartment. Doors open. Writing on the wall with spray paint. Save me. Help Addie. Stop the pain. They smell cooking. 2 pots on the stove. Head in one pot. Hands and feet in another pot. Arms and legs and racks in the oven at low heat. He chopped her up and was cooking her. No evidence he'd eaten her. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is Zach committed suicide on October 17th. He killed Addie on October 5th. It's the apartment with him for at least 10 days before he started cooking. Kept the air conditioning down low, kept his job, delivering groceries on a bicycle. 10 days with a corpse. We have no idea what's going on in that party. So, if you want to see Zach, go to the rooftop pool bar of the Omni. You don't have to be a guest to go up there. You could sneak in. Well, you can go to the front desk and get a special pass. That's no fun. Sneak in. All right, go to the 7th floor. There's a louvered door. Pretend your car key doesn't work. When someone comes out, you go in. Rob is the daytime bartender during the week. You say, hey, Rob, skip something. Okay, sit over there. You get you a drink. You tell you where to sit. Watch your lane. Guy, great. Is that guy okay? And there's no guy. 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, 2000s. You got ghost kids. We're not going to walk 2 blocks till building.